This is where the ancient cities and medieval civilizations emerged and disappeared. This is the cradle of great ideas, a place where science and arts prospered, the crossroads of trade and the boldest ideas. What is Central Asia like today? What do the countries in the region have in common? What is the cultural and genetic code of the peoples living in this part of the world? Stay tuned with Central Asian Guide to find out.
Minter from Bukhara. Rationalizer from Kostanay. Kazakh traditional wooden tableware. The art of metal processing arose in the Middle East in Anatolia. The oldest known artifacts belong to the Bronze Age. They exist more than 6 millennia. The first learners of iron processing were the legendary Chalybes living on the Black Sea's shore next to the Scythians. In ancient times, they were called fathers of iron. During the conquest campaigns of the peoples of the sea, metal forging spread far beyond the Hittite kingdom. Gradually, in addition to weapons, it was used to make household items and even luxury goods. People developed artistic techniques, chasing and engraving. The sophisticated art form in Central Asia reached its peak in the 15th century, during the reign of Timur and the Timurid dynasty. The products of Bukhara minters were famous in the countries of the Silk Road. They were distinguished by the plasticity, strict pattern of the ornament, and the depth of the minting. Today, the Center of Artisans is located in the remarkable architectural monument included in the single architectural ensemble of Liabi House in the center of Bukhara. Here, the heirs of the famous masters work. Welcome to Bukhara. This is the former Nadir Divan Begi Madrasa, and here the artisans work. Our workshop is also here. We deal with minting and engraving of metal. Let's go. I'll show you your work. Hello, how are you? What are you doing now? How's your work going? Okay, carry on. This is my son, Jamoljon Kasimov. We have been working together for 15 years. I taught him the craft. And now he works independently. Students and sons of the master work with him. Some of them even have their own students. Hello. Greetings. How are you? How's it going? Are you not tired of your work? So far, so good. Good. As usual, I'm engraving copper. Copper? Yes. Now many people became interested in it. This will be a three-dimensional work. What? Three-dimensional? Yes, that is right. It seems like 3D, as it is said today. I'll finish it soon. What are you doing? Dilmurajon? I'm about to finish. I see. That's how it should be. Okay, I'll correct it. Yes, we should tighten the pattern. I see. I will. This is my workshop. We will mint the copper cups. That's how we start the work. Here the name of this pattern is Islami Gulzar. We will continue to work. I learned secrets of Bukhara minting and engraving from Master Salim Hamidov. He taught all aspects of this profession. And now I can transfer these skills to students. I prepare this work for the exhibition. I am grateful to the teacher for teaching me this skill. This portrait depicts the gone teacher who taught many students the secrets of Bukhara minting and engraving. In 1966, he opened a school in Bukhara, and I studied there since 1969. Now I have many students who work in different cities. The first time that after training, Tohir Kasimov had to get a job at a garment and haberdashery factory. In those days, private entrepreneurship was not supported. However, the young man developed his skills, and soon the creations of the master were exhibited in Romania and the USA. Also, he took part in the national and international competitions. Later, he managed to start his own business. To master this profession, you must first learn to draw well. A person should know mathematics, geometry, and drawing well. We teach the basics of drawing for beginners over half a year, sometimes for a whole year. This skill is very important. After all, patterns on copper plates will be knocked out according to the drawings. At first, teacher Salim drew for us, and we only engraved these patterns, and now I draw the patterns for my students first, and then they engrave according to my sketches. First archaeological findings on the territory of Bukhara began somewhere in the 4th to 3rd millennium BC. The items of the first artisans belong to the end of the 2nd millennium BC. There are products from gold, silver, copper, bronze, and other types of metal. This means that the metalwork was put on a high level in Bukhara. Bukhara, as you know, was built as a capital city. Since the ancient times, it was the capital of the Samanid state in the 10th century. In the 16th century, it belonged to the Shaybanid state, where all artisans concentrated. Artisans made weapons, items of copper, and created artistic ornaments. I'm glad that my sons now also participate in prestigious exhibitions. For example, in Santa Fe, the United States of America, Kazakhstan, Russia, Italy, and France. And everywhere they are highly appreciated. I'm very happy with the success of my children and students, and I'm happy that I chose this profession. Our country has several schools of minting and engraving on metal in Bukhara, Kokand, Fergana, and Margilan. All of them differ from each other. For example, the Bukhara school is characterized by creating historical monuments. Animals and patterns Islami. First we draw such sketches, and then we place them on dishes and make copies using copy paper. After the image appears on the metal, we proceed to the main work. Here, I have in my hands the image of the Chashma Ayub Mausoleum in Bukhara. And here the fortress Ark, here the city of Khiva, and this Shoradar Madrasa in Samarkand. Here is the Ismail Samani Mausoleum in Bukhara. We draw such drawings, process them, and engrave them on metal. In the 7th century BC, the first coinage of coins appeared in Lydia. In the 3rd century, Bukhara already minted these coins. This is the 6th, 7th century, the most interesting age of the Silk Road. Here, according to Chinese sources, beautiful artistic things were made. People have become wealthy. They began to produce highly artistic things from various metals. The minting first appeared when weapons were made from steel and iron. And then it appeared on household dishes, armament, shields, sabers, and daggers. This is a very ancient art form. This is my youngest son, Jasur John Kasimov. He deals with engraving and minting. The young master creates dishes and ornaments from copper, brass, and capronickel. His products are stored in European museums and collections of connoisseurs from around the world. I began learning the secrets of minting at the age of 14 from my father. Now I participate in many exhibitions. I was recently in Tajikistan and exhibited my works there. Work on this symbol right here. Here too. I was very glad to get to know you. The guests from foreign countries visit the center of the craft workshops in the former Nadir Divanbegi Madrasa to look at the works of artisans and buy what they like. Also, there are concerts in the open air. Tourists love this historic place. That's all. I have a business meeting in the city. Bye. Despite the stereotypes of sedentary peoples, archaeological findings on the territory of Kazakhstan and Altai indicate that wood carving, wooden tableware and furniture, not to mention the items associated with nomadic management, were common in the Great Steppe from ancient times. Fortunately, folk artisans managed to preserve and bring the skill of their ancestors to the present day. This is the first stage of preparation of the wooden dish astau. This is a modern dish for beshbarmak. A week ago we cut out the form. Today we will shape it. The birch is taken only from the shank. We take only the second and third cut, approximately 1.5 meters above the ground. The core cannot be taken because the core can burst. Well, I have been doing this art since I was 15 years old. My father was a rural resident, a blacksmith. He was quite well known in his time in the district. He lived in the Uritsky district in Kostanay region. Now it is named Sarikol district. He worked as a blacksmith all his life. He is an artisan, blacksmith, jeweler, saddler, shoemaker, and cabinet maker. That attracted me. Tanat Khan Bozhakov spent half his life in the village and moved to Kostanay 20 years ago. There he opened his own workshop. He never studied the art of carving. He created many things from memory, repeating the techniques of his father. Tanat Khan managed to perfect the old method. For example, he adapted metalwork tools for working with wood. This tool is designed generally for electricians for laying cables. This is called a scraper tool. When it was necessary to cut through or hollow out, I did it by hand. This instrument attracted my attention. I studied the principle of its work and made such attachments. I have more than 10 of them. That's how it works. We need to carve the base from the outside. The handle should be carved and it is necessary to deepen it a little. This is done by hand. One should be careful with a tree. If you cut off more than what's needed, then you won't be able to paste it. This is neither plasticine nor plaster, so that you can remove and glue it. This tree still has a little moisture. The process requires another 2 to 3 days to complete astau. During this time, it will become thinner. Since it has not given a crack until now, there will be no further cracks. Now many people make it from different materials. I saw astau from the white willow at the exhibition. I've never worked with such material. I do not know how to work with it. I'm 100% sure in a birch tree. If properly dried and processed, you can give a guarantee for 50 years for these materials. In general, wooden tableware are associated with Kazakhs from ancient times. They had copper utensils, mostly brawls and jars. For food, they used items from wood. They were made in the original form. The buckets were made with a ring so that you could hang it. I got this knife from my father. It was long at one time. I do not know what material was used to make it, but I do not sharpen it. I always use it at work. I got used to this tool. I've saved something from my father's instruments. There is even an instrument that my grandfather used. My ancestors were all artisans, jewelers, blacksmiths. My father was a master. He was awarded a silver medal for the jewelry work in Moscow in 1964. Wood carving has been typical for our Kostanay region from the ancient times. We have relict pine woods as well as trees that are used in applied art. These are birch, linden, and alder. They're from the Sarikol district of the Kostanay region, the Uzinkol district, because best birches grow there. When I start a working day, I do not focus only on astau because there are many tools. For example, this electro-parting tool, as I call it, has the property of overheating, and you need some time to cool it down. If I work on a lathe tool and it is overheated, I have to switch. I cannot sit and wait for half an hour when it is cooled down. I need to work with 2-3 tools at once to save time. I have a working day of 10 to 12 hours, and sometimes I do not notice how time flies. The pleasure you get when people come and buy your things and thank you is incredible. That's a great pleasure when people like what you do. According to the master, sets of pialas for a traditional steppe drink kumis are in high demand. Even foreign tourists are interested in artfully carved items. Some sets were taken to Europe and the United States. The perch is not linden. You have to make an effort to do something about it. This is the standard size. This will be enough to make astau for 10 to 12 people. The most popular size is 10 by 28. The bottom of the bastau is already indicated. It all goes back to the depths. Here the depth is marked. It's all cleaned up. Then this handle is cut with a jigsaw to make semi-circular handle. It will still take 2 to 2.5 days to complete this astau. That is, the work is time-consuming. It is not done quickly. But I have half-ready astau of approximately the same form, but the smaller size. There are two of them. I make it for my clients. In the result, it looks like that, with such a handle. I polish it this way. Here's the bottom. Therefore, this half circle of the bottom is drawn here. By chance, I was in Chelyabinsk 10 years ago and bought this Swiss machine. Here is an ordinary base plate. I sharpen the linden on it. Here it is attached to the base plate. I cut it, polished it from the outside, and I clean it from the back. Such a deepening should be done for convenience so that it does not slip off the hands if a person takes it. Bajaka followed his father, Jack at all trades. Although there are many smart machines in the workshop, he is more proud of self-made tools. These tools give effective work. First, the quality of forming turns out perfectly. It also saves time. I would like to focus on the tool that I got from my father. I have been using this tool for over 30 years. I did not even change the handle. You see, my father made it. He was engaged in cooperage. This is a tool for making utensils for beating kumis. I use this tool. And here's the second tool. This is when you make a bottom and cut through. It's a kind of plane. This is also a tool of my grandfather and father. I managed to save these tools and this axe. This is an axe of my father. I do not know how old it is, but they say that he dipped it in sulfuric acid. Therefore, it has such a silvery color. From time to time, I polish it. It cuts like a razor. I use it often. Many thin plates are left when the material is cut out. This is the birch. I never throw them out, because I make kitchen shovels from them. This is one of high-demanded items which are constantly needed and which are constantly being bought. I make forks, shoulder blades. I use the jigsaw. On the back, I stick the scotch tape so that there will be no cleavage. Now we will make a crude treatment with an axe. Now we have such a fettling wheel. We put it on this homemade machine for stripping. Now we'll cover my blade with such a bioground which I made 5 minutes ago. Let's see how the tree changes after processing with natural oil. It is very important to process it, otherwise tomorrow it will mold, rot, and it will smell badly. In 24 hours, it will all absorb. That's all. It's ready. The carver easily switches from the tableware to the furniture manufacturing. These are kegs, you see. They are of different shapes and sizes. I make them for my customers. Here I have friends, beekeepers. They make orders every year. I make furniture with my comrade Sergei Dontsov. He's a well-known carpenter in Kostanay. And we made such a set, a folding table and 4 chairs. The chairs are also foldable. This is for fishermen and hunters. And here are national Kazakh tables with ornament. These 2 tables are made in the same style. They are the same in diameter in the thread. On the table there are traditional items. These are storage chests and boxes. And these trays are also made with ornament. These are cotton boards. It is called bastabak. The descendants, including the masters of wood, continue national traditions, national values and culture. By their example, they attract young people. And it's good because quality things are obtained from the wood. They are harmless to the human body. They are covered only with natural colors, for example, henna. But national dishes for meat, astao, are not painted at all. These are eco-friendly dishes. Time. I need to be in the local history museum, 1:30. Therefore, I now change clothes and go there. By the way, we are on the territory of the museum. These are street exhibits that I made. These are real sledges. In autumn last year, I was asked to make a restoration. I did it myself. Skids and shafts are made from real wood, birch. It took us approximately 2 weeks to make it. Rustic arba. I was also asked to restore it. I fully restored it. Only the wheels remained. The rest was done by my hands. It took almost 2 weeks. This is a street exhibit, therefore we paint it in such a color. It decorates street for more than a year. And the feeling is as if I did it yesterday. People bring me old things, chairs, tables, coffee tables, and chests carved. I restore them. Tanat Khan Bozhakov can rightfully be called a generous person. During the exhibitions, his works are of great interest. If he sees that one of the guests is genuinely interested in his products, he can easily present them to the guests. I witnessed it many times. Now I have a meeting with art critic Saya Nurlibayevna. Saya Nurlibayevna, hello. Oh, Tanat Khan Bahmetovich, hello. Hello. As agreed. I'm very glad to see you. Saya Nurlibayevna is an art critic, a wonderful person. All artists, artisans of Kostanay know her. Today the picture gallery is very crowded. We have guests. There are students of the art school named after Nikiforov. Today they have a plein air in the picture gallery. Why? Because it is raining in Kostanay now. Our young artists came here with their master.
Tanat Khan
Bozhakov is an applied artist and has been working for a long time. And his works show their kinship with folk applied art. As he tells about himself, his origins, his talent come from childhood. Because he's a master in the 4th generation. The master has many ideas for the future. His products are needed by everyone. He has repeatedly participated in international exhibitions. He is constantly asked to make something to order. Now he's in a hurry, because the case does not like procrastination, and skill does not tolerate pauses. This is what I do. I like it. Now I have a lot to do. Goodbye, guys.